Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 remakes with worse effects than the original. For this list, we'll be looking at movie remakes that somehow managed to look not nearly as good as the originals, despite being made with more advanced special effects. We'll be excluding live-action remakes of animated films. Did we get this one right, or does this list deserve a remake? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. The Witches. The Anne Hathaway-led remake substitutes the practical puppet effects featured in the 1990 original for CGI.
You stupid fool. I did not drink the pea soup. If you recall, I was interrupted.
But the switch to digital doesn't have the same punch or uncanny weirdness as the first film adaptation of the Roald Dahl novel. The transformation of the witches, a classic and terrifying scene, isn't nearly as imaginative when it's all done with bland digital effects. When you're trying to one-up the puppeteering genius of Jim Henson, though, you really are fighting an upward battle. Unfortunately, The Witches just doesn't have the creativity or the charm to compete. Number 9. I Am Legend. Richard Matheson's apocalyptic novel has seen several film adaptations. While the 2007 Will Smith remake has been praised in some areas, the lackluster CGI effects have been called out by critics and audiences alike. The 1971 version, The Omega Man, settles for practical and makeup effects to portray a post-apocalyptic cityscape. However, despite being made 3 decades later, the infected in this 2007 remake are unconvincing in the light of day. Computer-generated footage is clearly clashing with the lighting and coloration in the rest of the shots, while the creatures themselves are too pale and featureless to register. At best, it's distracting, and at worst, it takes you out of the experience completely.
Look, I can save you! I can help you!
Number 8. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did the 1990 TMNT feature 4 grown men in turtle costumes? Yes, it did.
God, I hate punkers. Especially bald ones with green makeup. Wear masks over ugly faces.
But unlike this 2014 remake, it also has a distinctive visual style. Without the benefit of green screens and CGI, master puppeteer and character designer Jim Henson and the crew of dedicated production designers and set decorators had to create the world of the film from scratch.
I made a funny!
But despite technological advancements, the 2014 remake can barely manage to differentiate between the designs of its 4 central superheroes. Mixing animated footage of the Turtles and live-action footage, the 21st century Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles revival becomes just another bland superhero movie.
Chill, it's just a mask. See? Don't freak out. Right?
Number 7. Rollerball. It's bad enough that John McTiernan's remake of Rollerball removes virtually any of the original's philosophical or political commentary, but it also sacrifices any real tension, danger, or brutality.
John, the break you need is right here. They'll cover your travel, give you a 5K bonus just for showing up, and if you make the team, pow.
Maybe the stunts are bigger, but this only makes them look less real. Where the original actually feels urgent and dangerous, the remake is full of exaggerated falls, unconvincing makeup effects, and stuntmen flying through the air at impossible speeds and angles. You can erase wires, but you can't erase illogical physics. For a movie that wants to erase any trace of social commentary to focus more on action, you'd think the action scenes would be better.
The man wants a show, Rid. Guess we'll have to give him one.
Number 6. Poltergeist. Horror maestro Tobe Hooper may have had quite a few special effects edited into Poltergeist during its post-production period, but the original suspense is made all the more effective because so much of it seems so real.
Carol Ann is not like those she's with. She is a living presence in their spiritual earthbound plane.
But when this haunted house in suburbia story was recreated for the digital age, the photography was darker and the scares were way less impressive. Yeah, it may be cool that digital technology can easily make a portal to another dimension, but when you watch the same scene in the 1982 version, there's something special about sitting there and wondering, how did they do it? Number 5. The Fog. A quiet seaside town, ghostly pirates hell-bent on revenge, abnormal weather patterns, this remake of an underrated John Carpenter movie should have had it all. But what it lacks in acting, writing, and subtlety, it also lacks in visual style.
Where'd that come from?
Although the filmmakers used real fog machines on set, many digital effects were applied in post-production to give it a more menacing quality, but in the end, it just looks fake. The vengeful ghosts are not all that scary either because we just see too much of them, and the more we see, the more unreal they look.
Please. I've done nothing to deserve this.
That matters little now.
Please.
Number 4. Ben-Hur. The most expensive film of its time, 1959's Ben-Hur gave new meaning to the word epic and delighted audiences the world over with its fast-paced chariot races and stunning visual storytelling. It's only natural to think how much better it could be if it had modern filmmaking technique at its disposal. Well, if this 2016 remake is any indication, the answer is not much.
My money against your pride. Seems even.
Director Timur Bekmambetov disposes of the original sense of grandeur for shaky cam and frantic action movie editing. It's certainly a new take on the material, and one that failed to find an audience or critical praise. Number 3. Godzilla. An American version of the Japanese kaiju mythos was a long time coming.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. That is large.
After years of legal squabbles, script rewrites, and creature designs, Godzilla was released in theaters in the spring of 1998. Critics loathed it, and while it did respectable business, it was largely considered a failure.
I was standing inside of a footprint.
That's right.
But there's no animal in the world that makes footprints like that. Is there?
Many viewers chalked this up to the movie's treatment of the legendary monster. The creature's design, though technologically more advanced than the original movies from the 1950s and 60s, did not impress longtime fans. The CGI here doesn't have nearly as much schlocky charm or heart as the original Japanese series. Number 2. The Haunting. Jan de Bont directed the 1996 CGI-laden barn burner Twister, so his remake of The Haunting was sure to be a feast for the eyes.
Monster, but he built this house for the woman that he loved, like the Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal wasn't a palace, it was a tomb, and equally overdone.
Eschewing the psychological terror of the original Shirley Jackson novel and its 1963 film adaptation, de Bont's version certainly has a lot of CGI.
Now it's just you and me, you train! Purgatory's over! You go to hell!
The haunted house itself is a feat of great art direction. Unfortunately, none of it really looks convincing once it comes to life. The flexing walls and ceilings, the statues of children that look like milk chocolate, and the final boss monster are all a little too ambitious and just plain wrong looking to ever be truly scary. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Thing.
You see, what we're talking about here is an organism that imitates other life forms, and it imitates them perfectly.
Here's the thing. John Carpenter's creature feature about a vicious DNA-replicating alien life form features some of the most unique, disgusting, and baffling practical special effects of all time. It set the standard for gross-out movie magic from the moment it premiered in 1982.
You ain't tying me up.
Then I'll have to kill you, child.
Then kill me.
So when we say the 2011 version looks worse, it's not that the special effects look bad. It's just that when you've seen something as horribly real and grotesque as what Rob Bottin created for the original, no digital recreation can compare. And when the remake does try to harken back to the best moments from Carpenter's version, it only reminds us that the original designs still hold up after all these years. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.